welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
Hi, I'm Rainbow.
And today we are beginning a 3-day look at things you will find in the kitchen.
Ooh, electronics?
Cooking things to make your life easier or to take you from a pretty good chef to a master chef using technology. Now, when I think of things in the kitchen, one of the things that I always think about is a blender. Something that can mix your vegetables. You can make soups with it. It kind of chops things up.
Yeah, you can make
really,
juices,
really useful.
smoothies.
Juices and smoothies, that's right. Spaghetti sauces.
Gravy.
Gravies, all sorts of things. Those are very, very useful and very handy. Do you use a mixer when you make your wonderful meals at home in the kitchen?
I used to, but then it was kind of a lot of work because you have to wash it.
True.
You know, you have to soak it, and it makes a lot of noise.
They can be noisy.
So when I lived in a place without really good soundproofing, my neighbors found it too noisy.
Your neighbors would complain when you were using your mixer
It was so loud.
to make juices and smoothies. That is very loud.
Very loud.
Okay, well, I guess you can buy those things in restaurants or in stores, right? You don't have to make them at home.
Yeah.
Are there other machines or appliances, as we call these machines in our home? Are there appliances in your kitchen that you can't live without, that you must have?
Currently, I would say a microwave.
Oh, that's another very useful thing. I don't know if
It's
a
not
lot
the best for you.
Right. I mean, I don't think a lot of people use it to cook their food. But to warm up your food, to reheat the food from last night, for example, microwaves are super useful.
Yeah, very convenient.
All right, well, let's get into In the Kitchen. We'll find out what our two friends Monica and Curtis in the dialogue are getting up to in the kitchen and what they're using to help them out. Curtis and Monica are in the kitchen.
Did you see my kettle anywhere? I can't find it.
Which kettle do you mean? The small one or the really big one?
I'm looking for the small one. Jamie is coming over to see it.
Did you check the closet by the refrigerator? The really big kettle is in there.
All right, so we are in the kitchen, as you can see in the title there, and let's find out who's in the kitchen and what they're doing.
Curtis and Monica are in the kitchen.
All right, so we know it's Curtis and Monica, and we know they're in the kitchen. Now let's find out what they're doing. It seems they're looking for something. Curtis begins. He says, "Did you see my kettle anywhere?" He's looking for his kettle. He says, "I can't find it." When you can't find something, you turn to someone and you say, "I can't find it." And they say, "What are you looking for?" And if your name is Curtis, you say, "My kettle." Clearly, he wants to make himself a cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
That's what you would use a kettle for.
Exactly, for boiling water. So Monica says, which kettle do you mean? The small one or the really big one? So they have two, I guess. That's a lot of kettles.
They're fancy. This is a 2-kettle home.
Yeah, it
They
is.
must be rich or drink a lot of tea. Who knows? Anyways, we also had this word mean here. Monica said, which one do you mean? The small kettle or the big one? When we use mean in this way, we're using it as a verb. So what do you mean? I mean this. We're basically telling you what we're trying to say. Often you could say something that has two ways of understanding it. I can understand it this way, or I can understand it that way. I'm a little confused about exactly what you're trying to say, what your point is, or what you're really focusing on. So I would say if I want a little bit more explanation, if I want to understand a little bit more help in understanding you, I'd say, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Give me better information so I really understand what you're trying to say. So with 2 kettles, right?
It's like,
it could be
which
the big
one?
one or the little one. So that's why she wants to know, which kettle, the big one or the small one? Which do you mean? And he says, I'm looking for the small one. So he means that the small kettle is the one that's missing. That's the one he's looking for. So he's looking for the small one. Jamie is coming over to see it. Must be a very special kettle. His friend is coming over to his house to look at his kettle. Maybe his friend is going to buy the kettle or something.
Oh.
I think it's weird to invite your friends over. Hey, come over and look at my fridge. That's kind of strange. But anyways, his friend wants to see his kettle. So of course, to show the kettle to his friend Jamie, Curtis has to find the kettle first.
Monica says, did you check the closet by the refrigerator? The really big kettle is in there. I guess they have a big kitchen, and there are a lot of things, and they are organized by type. So if the big one's there, probably the small one's there, but we would have to check.
That's right. You won't know unless you check.
That's right. And to check is a verb that means to make sure about something. I can check to see if I forgot anything. I can check my bag. I can check to see if something is there by opening a closet. I can check the weather if I want to know if I need to bring an umbrella. It is anything that you're making sure about, and it requires you to look up some sort of information or look into it by doing some type of action.
Yeah, I always check my pockets when I leave.
To see if you have your
Make
phone,
sure if keys, phone,
wallet.
money, MRT card. I kind of
Yeah.
touch my pockets. I check using my hands. But yes, you're checking, you're making sure or verifying, to use a fancy word.
Ooh.
And so Monica's idea was to check the closet by the fridge. That's where they keep the kettle, well, the big kettle, so maybe the small one's there. The kettles are, hanging out together.
If they are organized,
That's
it will
true.
be in the same place.
It could be in the same place. And a good place to keep things in your home if you want to be organized and you have the space is a closet. A closet is kind of like a really, really, really small room, but it's not really a room. It's usually just a space with a door, and it might have shelves, and you put stuff in there, stuff you don't need, stuff you don't use. You can close the door, you don't have to see it, you can kind of forget about it, but often when you need something, go look in the closet. I kind of do the same thing. I might take my hot water machine and put it in the closet during the summertime because I don't drink hot drinks. And I will also put a lot of my winter clothes in the closet.
Good idea.
Things that you don't need. If you have a closet in your bedroom, it's a good place to store clothes or any other things you don't want all the time, but you want to put somewhere safe. All right, let's take a break and then we'll be back.
Yes, I already did, but it's not there.
Maybe it's in the drawer under the stove.
Why would the small kettle be there?
That's the place for all our pots and pans.
Okay, so Curtis and Monica are in the kitchen. They're searching high, they're searching low. They're looking for Curtis's small kettle.
I guess it's really small.
Yeah, and his friend Jamie has to see the kettle. Jamie's coming over. But where is the kettle? Monica suggested looking in the closet. Yes, that is a good place to look because it's a good place to put things when you don't need them. But Curtis,
it wasn't there.
This isn't the first time he's looked for something. He's very experienced at looking for things. So he says, yes, I already did, but it's not there. Of course I looked in the closet, Monica. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm an experienced searcher of kettles, but he's already looked there, so that means he's looked there before, and I guess it's not there.
And when you use the adverb already, it means something that has been done before. So if you say, I already checked the closet, it means what you're about to do has already been done, has been done before, just prior. Okay, so you can say, I already know about this, means somebody told me about this before, or I Googled it before. Anything before this conversation right now already happened, already existed, already talked about, already discussed. It is followed by any sort of verb, an action that you've completed before.
Hey, do you want something to eat? I'm going out to get some lunch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I already ate. Maybe next time.
You ate just before, so you don't need to eat again now. All right, so he's already looked in the closet. It's not there. He's already looked. So Monica has an idea about another place to look.
She says, maybe it's in the drawer under the stove.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that would make sense because
That's
you put the
true.
kettle on the stove.
Right, and many stoves will have that big drawer and you can put
pull
pots
it
and
out.
frying pans and lids, covers for your pots and frying pans.
That space.
It's really big and it is easy to put stuff in there and then kind of forget about it. Now, a drawer is kind of like a closet. It's another place in your home that you can store things, but a drawer is much smaller and a drawer will usually be one part of another bigger piece of furniture. If you have a simple desk, something to work and write on, often down the side of the desk, down the side of the desk, next to your legs, there will be some drawers, and you might put pens and pencils in one, and some paper and envelopes or something in another. Or in your bedroom, you probably have a large chest of drawers. You could call this an armoire if you're very fancy. There are a few names for it depending on the size and shape, but the important thing are those things you pull out. If you're like me, you put your socks and underwear at the top, and then maybe your t-shirts in the middle, and then maybe your shorts and sweaters on the bottom.
That's a good organization.
I don't know. But yes, each one has its own little box. You slide that box out. It's open on the top. That is a drawer, and you might have 3 or 4 or more in one kind of furniture. Again, useful for keeping things safe and putting them away until you need them. Now, the drawer under the stove. Yeah, this is where I put my cooking and baking stuff, right? So Curtis has the same kind of question I would have. Why would the small kettle be there, right? You don't cook things in the kettle. You don't use the kettle in the oven. It's a strange place maybe to put your kettle. So why
I guess
would
you
it be
just
in
cook
the
water.
Drawer?
Monica says that's the place for all our pots and pans. I guess they have different ideas about how things are organized and what makes sense, right?
True, and she did say pots and pans. A kettle is neither a pot nor a pan. The other thing is that kettles, I think, would take up a lot of space, right? Most of the things in that drawer in my home, they're flat. They kind of sit on top of each other.
That makes
then you have this giant, stupid kettle taking up get out of there, kettle. You're ruining my system. Anyways, we haven't found the kettle, and I'm not feeling happy.
Yeah, maybe it's just too small, so it's buried in there.
I don't know, but we gotta find... Jamie's coming over to look at the kettle. What are we gonna do? Well, we'll have to come back tomorrow and find out, because we're done for today. So go home, find your kettle, give it a hug, and then come back and join us tomorrow. We'll see you then, and hopefully we'll have a small kettle for you. I don't know.
Make some tea.
Oh, yeah. Curtis and Monica are in the kitchen.
Did you see my kettle anywhere? I can't find it.
Which kettle do you mean? The small one or the really big one?
I'm looking for the small one. Jamie is coming over to see it.
Did you check the closet by the refrigerator? The really big kettle is in there.
Yes, I already did, but it's not there.
Maybe it's in the drawer under the stove.
Why would the small kettle be there?
That's the place for all our pots and pans.
Hello, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 mean 动词意指，它的三态是 mean, meant, meant. What does this symbol mean? 这个符号是什么意思？下一个单字 check 动词查看。 Can you check the door? Is it locked? 你可以检查一下门吗？上锁了吗？下一个单字 already 副词已经。I already finished my dinner. 我已经吃完晚餐了。最后一个单字 drawer 名词抽屉。Kevin keeps his socks in the top drawer of his closet. Kevin 把袜子放在衣柜最上层的抽屉里。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 which 加名词 A or B 是哪个 A 还是 B？Which 在这里是疑问形容词，意思是哪个的。我们来看看这个例句 Which bag do you like? The white one or the black one? 你喜欢哪个包包？白色的还是黑色的？下一个文法 Look for 寻找，这是一个不可以分开的动词片语。我们来看看这个例句 Andrea is looking for her keys everywhere in the house.Andrea 正在房子里到处寻找她的钥匙。最后一个文法 come over 来家里拜访做客。come 的三态是 come, came, come. over 指的是从甲地到乙地，当作副词使用。我们来看看这个例句 Why don't you come over this weekend? We can have dinner together. 这个周末来我们家如何？我们可以一起吃晚餐。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见喽，拜拜。
Hey, it's Kiwi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie. Wow, this guy, he's really lost in his book.
Lost in his book? What do you mean? He's right here.
Oh, no, that means he's really into his book. He's really concentrating.
Oh, so it's another one of those phrases.
Exactly.
Let's work on some new phrases.
All right, let's work on some phrases. Okay, so please pick the correct phrase.
Snow job. I think it's wind job.
I guess it's wind job.
Snow job.
Wind job.
Snow job. Maybe I choose snow job.
Snow job. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, yes.
Correct. So we
let's
have.
get it.
Let's get it. Okay, we have.
走下坡，年华老去。
Oh. Over a hill.
Over the hill. Up the hill.
Over the hill.
Over the hill.
Up the hill. Over the hill.
Let's see if you're correct.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay! All right, so it's over the hill. What did we learn today? Today we learned some new phrases. Let's check them out. The first one is snow job, and it is when someone tries really hard to make someone believe something by saying things that are not true. They are trying to cover something up. Sometimes a snow job is also when someone uses a lot of flattery to try to get someone to do something they want. This phrase came from World War II, and it came from another phrase, snowed under, which means to be covered by a lot of snow. And there's a sense of helplessness when you're overwhelmed. So both of these phrases represents things that are being covered up and hidden from plain sight. Our next phrase is over the hill. This phrase is used to describe someone that is of old age. Their prime is over. They're not as energetic or as active as they used to be. The idea of the hill represents the peak of your life, and when we spend our youth climbing up, we climb over the hill. When you finally get over that hill, you've shown your achievements and progress. Those are our phrases for today. Kiwi later!